There was backstage panic after a shocking WWE spot went wrong. Plus, a major Raw star has been pulled from the WWE India Super Show, and a grudge match has been added to Dynamite Grand Slam. It is all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. On Tuesday, Von Wagner got his head crushed by steel steps at the hands of Bron Breakker. That was the spot that closed NXT on Tuesday, and they did it really well. So as the steps come down, it cuts to black. Cuts to black.
Yes.
And however, as it's been reported this morning, this didn't exactly go according to plan.
No, this comes from bodyslam.net, and they said several we spoke to who were regular attendees of NXT noted to us that there was a panic caused by the spot as the EMTs and other agents seemed exceptionally worried after. The same people also noted that when the steps came down, they directly made contact with the back of Von Wagner's head and neck. For reference, the part of the steps used in the segment weigh around 150 pounds.
Another source that works backstage in NXT Weekly noted that there was a general panic after Bron hit him in the head accidentally, as the quote says. It was stressed to us that the black screen was indeed planned, but it appeared to be a blessing in disguise for Von Wagner, as the blow was not shown on television. We were told that, quote, aspects went wrong, and Wagner ended up being split open by the shot, which was obviously not part of the plan. And despite the panic, the backstage team were able to get the stretcher to ringside and attend to the stricken Von Wagner. Some shots have done the rounds of Von Wagner with a towel around his head, with blood there. Again, whether that was the blood was meant to be part of it, we don't know, but we do know that there was certainly fear that this was a far heavier hit than was expected. While all this was going on, Shawn Michaels, described by sources close to Body Slam as visibly shaken, came out to the ring and continued the angle with Breakker, taking attention away from the obviously hurt Von Wagner. WWE announced shortly after the incident that Von Wagner was being transported to the hospital for treatment. Unable to confirm, though, are we the extent of Von Wagner's injuries, bar the cut on his head from the blow. Now, as we said, it was an angle, a very dramatic angle to end the show, but it, by all accounts, didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, I just hope he's all right, because, you know, WWE afterwards put out, you know, when they do like the phone shots, sort of like the candid shots, and to me, I was like, oh, okay, it's just an angle, because they don't often post things, perhaps, you know, when something's like tremendously gone awry. So I thought it's just all part of the angle, but now all this stuff coming out, I just hope he's all right, because it was a very dramatic spot at the end. It was, it looks brutal and everything. The cut to black and all that, I thought worked tremendously well in terms of like the show aspect of it, you know, the brutality of it and everything. But yeah, like I just hope he's all right, because spots like that, when they go perhaps a little bit wrong, yeah.
I would think that by them sharing like footage of, you know, if they're showing official footage of Wagner being taken away, that they're probably at a point where they go, he either everything's fine or he's injured, but he will be okay. Yeah. Because that is then, because if something's gone appallingly wrong and it's affecting the rest of their career or whatever, then you'd be reluctant to share it. I know, obviously, with Big E breaking his neck, I think there's, you know, obviously a lot of that gets shared around. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head whether any of that was official or not, but it's one of those where once you know that the performer is going to be, you know, okay is the wrong term, because clearly they wouldn't be. When you know it's not something life-threatening now, they'll kind of lean into what happened and they'll use it to enhance the story. Yeah. So I guess it'll be interesting to see what is replayed and how it's discussed over the next coming days on socials and heading into next Tuesday NXT to see whether or not they take advantage of this. We obviously wish Von Wagner a full and speedy recovery. It's a grim thing when something like that goes wrong, and we wish him nothing but the best. We have an update regarding WWE's Superstar Spectacle taking place in Hyderabad in India tomorrow night. One star will not be there.
Yeah, Becky Lynch shared on Twitter, "I'm sorry to all the fans in Hyderabad, India. I was so excited to perform for you, but as there was a tiny tear in my passport, I have not been allowed to board my flight at Qatar Airways." Lynch was supposed to obviously compete at Superstar Spectacle, the first WWE event in India since 2017 as well.
She quote tweeted one of the fans from India who thanked Becky Lynch for being a moral support to her and was so excited to see Becky Lynch performing in India tomorrow night. And she's quote tweeted and gone, look, we'll have to do this again another time because it's not coming in. That's devastating. And I can read into that tweet the sheer frustration of that as well.
Of course, like a tiny tear in the passport, and that is the thing that is keeping her from going over to India and wrestling. Like, obviously there she's trying to rectify things with Qatar Airways, obviously tagging them there in the tweet as well to see if anything can possibly happen for her to get over there. But yeah, that's such a shame.
Really
such a shame.
is. And airports are stressful at the best of times.
Yeah, of course they are.
Without having to deal with something like that. As far as we know, everybody else is heading over to India as planned for now. Becky Lynch not amongst them, and no doubt there'll be plans changing in air. Unless, of course, maybe Qatar Airways just come through and they all, or Vince flies past his private jet.
Yeah.
Jump in, pal. I don't know.
She can get in Charlotte Flair's helicopter and off she goes. She can drop down from the ceiling, just like on the, like on the rope ladder from the helicopter. Go on.
Or she leaves the airport and just next to, and they're by the sea, and then just a submarine pops up with Larry the dog in, going, "There's no time to explain. Just get in."
Why is the wrestling ring in this body of water? I wonder what's going on here.
It's a real shame that Becky's not going to be part of it. But of course, Superstar Spectacle goes down tomorrow in India. It's not going to be shown over here in the UK or in the States. I believe it's going to be on selected channels over in India. It's SmackDown's on tomorrow as planned as normal. And I imagine that they will have clips and highlights that will celebrate it in the aftermath as well. As a stadium event, it's going to look amazing as well. We're sending our love to the friends and family of another lost WWE star today. Adnan Al-Kassi, known to many of us as General Adnan, has passed away at the age of 84. Al-Kassi debuted back in 1959. He was an amateur wrestler of great success in Iraq, and he was a graduate from the Oklahoma State University too. Former WWF Tag Team Champion as Billy White Wolf. He teamed with Chief Jay Strongbow and won the titles. But then a lot of people came to know him as General Adnan.
Which is how I know him as well.
Yeah. The Triangle of Terror.
The heat was... It was unbelievable.
Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, and Colonel Mustafa, aka the Iron Sheik, the Triangle of Terror that rocked the WWF in the early 90s. He also competed in the AWA and World Class. He warred with Nick Bockwinkel. He tagged with Jerry Blackwell. He feuded with the Rockers briefly. So it's one thing I learned as I kind of got back into wrestling, because I remember Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, and Colonel Mustafa, and I've been at a young age, I just thought, who are they? Rubbish compared to Slaughter.
Yeah.
And then when you go, oh, that's the Iron Sheik. That's amazing.
Yep.
And then you go, oh, that's Billy White Wolf. Oh, flippin' heck. It's one of those. Sergeant Slaughter obviously leading the tribute, saying Adnan was an amazing talent and a gifted athlete. With him mentoring me and giving me the knowledge of Iraqi and Saddam's ways, I took the Iraqi sympathizer character way beyond what WWE ever imagined when they asked me to play that role. Many other tributes coming in. And we, of course, here at Cultaholics send our love to the friends and family of the late, great Adnan Al-Kassi, a.k.a. General Adnan. Now, before we let you go, we're going to have a little talk on Rampage. Spoilers, if you don't want them, look away now. Welcome back, you're still here. We had some Eliminator Tournament quarterfinals.
Yes, we do.
And we had a grudge match set.
We do, indeed. Let's hit you with them straight in the old head. Samoa Joe defeated Jeff Hardy and Penta beat Jay Lethal to move on to the semi-finals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. I'm excited about this because there's a few different ways I feel like this could go, because obviously we've got Samoa Joe and MJF. They did stuff on Dynamite recently.
Fantastic work on Dynamite.
But also Roddy Strong beat Trent to also progress in the Eliminator Tournament too. So you've got Samoa Joe on one side, you got Roddy Strong on the other side. Obviously, Adam Cole and MJF, and Samoa Joe and MJF, and it was Samoa Joe, I believe, that put the neck brace that had the damaged Roddy's neck so bad that he's had to wear the neck brace. So I wonder, it's all coming together nice and full circle. Anyway, sorry, I digress. We also...
All right, Tad.
I digress.
But I digress.
Plus, we also had on Rampage Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara having a heated confrontation about their recent misunderstandings in the ring. It was agreed that they'd have a match at Grand Slam to blow off some steam and get everything out of their system too.
So is this maybe the solidifying of their team, or is this the dissolving of their team?
Because they keep diverting one way and the other. Maybe it's the dissolving. Who knows? Who knows? There was a little bit of pushing and shoving on Dynamite last night. So.
I enjoyed how, they were very keen security guards last night on Dynamite.
They were.
Where, sometimes you'd have a wrestler like on NXT, Bron Breakker drops steel steps on Von Wagner for the security guards go, maybe we should head out. Whereas here, it was just like Jericho went, and then they all ran, whoa, easy. They were very keen on Dynamite last night. I imagine after the week or so AEW's had, the security guards are very keen to step in the way of a bit of shoving.
Rightly so.
Maybe so. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
I love you, bye.